Welcome to the Craftsman Interview. I'm here with Mark Friese from Friese Financial Advocates, and the purpose of these interviews, again, is just to check in with local business owners, see how this crisis has impacted them, talk a little bit about their business and how they're dealing with it, both internally as well as obviously with customers. And so thanks so much for jumping online with me, Mark. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jim, and I've enjoyed the interviews you've done so far. They've been it's been very interesting to see what's going on in the neighborhood.
Yeah, thank you. So why don't we just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your business. You're a Libertyville resident, correct?
I am, correct.
And
I've been in Libertyville for 20 years.
Got it.
My office is based in Libertyville as well. We're near the Libertyville post office. We've been here for 20 years. This is a second generation business here. We work with many clients in the area and around the country. We work with individuals, families, small businesses, professional athletes, and coaches. And been very happy in the Libertyville area, and it's been a very vibrant community, and I love the downtown area. We live very close to downtown, so we walk Main Street pretty much every night. Most nights most nights we like to look in the windows to see who's at the different restaurants. Obviously that's not happening at the moment.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty quiet right now. So when I think of your business, my mind shifts. Obviously, there's so much talk about the disease itself, which is scary and something that is obviously needs to be discussed and flatten the curve and all of that stuff. But when I think of the financial guys and gals that I know, it kind of shifts to the economics in the economic impact of the crisis. Can you tell me a little bit about what that means to you guys? What's going on in your business as it relates to, I'm sure you're fielding a lot of questions and things like that. So just talk a little bit about the economic side of it.
Very well, yes. We take an approach that we're going to hope for the best and plan for the worst. So we focus on a long-term view. We also work with a lot of people that are in or near retirement, and they have concerns over retirement income cash flow. It's very important. And so we spend a lot of time talking about retirement income and their nest egg, if you will, and the cash flow that it can provide. And the questions that we get now, it's a lot is, on taking risk in the appropriate places. And as long as you have a plan and you're taking risk in the appropriate places that corresponds with the goals, that helps a lot, and that keeps people focused on what the long-term goal is. Some of our retirement strategies help protect retirement income. So we saw that back in 2008 with the financial crisis then, on how that worked and how clients reacted to that crisis and how they made it through and kept on going. We're seeing that again now. And so a lot of the conversations we're having with clients are around, reassurance that their plan is doing what it's supposed to do. And also had a lot of calls about and conversations about how to take advantage of the decline in the market. So those are some interesting conversations as well. One thing that's been brought to my mind is the importance of having money set aside for emergencies. And common thinking is that you should have 3 to 6 months of living expenses set aside in a savings account or somewhere that's accessible for emergencies. And I know a lot of people can't do that, but if everybody could do that, the economic downturn would have been negligible because of people being able to withstand being out of work for a month or 2 months. if they had that money set aside. And so it'd be negligible as far as a personal basis. The economy itself, is going through whatever it's going through at the moment, which is insanity. We're trying to provide some sane advice on, how to withstand this, not to panic. There's more important things at the moment: keeping yourself and your family healthy and safe, and just maintaining the plan. And the importance is having the plan and knowing that the plan will get you through times like these.
Yeah, yeah. You guys do important work, and I think advisors are needed more than ever right now. So thank you for the work that you're doing and the families that you serve. What are some of the questions that you're fielding? What are common questions that people are calling and asking you guys about?
Well, the last 3 weeks has been interesting. We've had a lot of people call, and we've reached out to a lot of our clients, especially the older ones. And a lot of people just want reassurance that everything that they've done with their plan is where it should be, and that they don't need to make any rash decisions at this point. And then, like I said earlier, we've had a lot of conversations about how to take advantage of the market where we're at right now. And so we've had quite a few conversations about either repositioning things or adding new money to accounts if people are able to do that.
Yeah.
So the conversations have really been positive for the most part. Every now and then you get somebody that's about ready to jump off a cliff. We have to reassure them that everything is fine, but that's pretty rare. For the most part, everybody knows that the entire planet is in this, and we're all in it together. And we just got to keep together, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll hopefully sooner rather than later come out the other side of this.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for sharing that. How are you and your family holding up? I know you have college age children, and how are you guys doing?
Much better than I had expected. Everybody's back home. My oldest is a freshman in college. He plays tennis at Carthage. Their season was cut short, obviously, although he's been redshirted as a freshman, so he'll still have his eligibility going forward.
That's good.
I have another one that's in high school at the music academy in Michigan, and he's home. I think it's probably hit him the hardest because of how that school works and the collaboration between the kids as far as rehearsals and all of that. And obviously they can't do that. And they still connect on remote learning and so forth, but it's not really the same, that they can't perform and rehearse together.
Yeah, but there's nothing like, being a music buff myself. I mean, there's nothing like being in the room. You got to be in all this technology. I mean, this Zoom stuff is great, and it's allowing me to do what we're doing now, and I love it. But from a performance perspective, I'm sure that's a huge impact because you feel the room,
Correct. So, my youngest, she's a freshman at Libertyville High School. They're obviously on remote learning right now as well, and it seems to be going pretty well. Everybody's getting their work done. There's some kind of unintended consequences and benefits of this, as well, that the five of us are sitting down to dinner together every single night, and there's been good conversation, and we've been playing more games and puzzles, because you can only watch so much TV. So we've been doing other things to keep us busy, doing yard work, taking the dog for a walk, which she's loving that. And so we've been dealing with it pretty well. And so, it is what it is, and we're doing our part to, stay in social distancing.
Yeah, right. No, that's great. There is definitely silver lining all over the place here. I agree, having dinners. A lot of people, I got a good friend of mine who every day sends me an update on his huge puzzle.
Yes.
And just stuff like that. It seems like there's some, I don't know what the right terminology is, core values or kind of old-fashioned almost, board games, things like that, that have come back into play, and it's kind of a beautiful thing to see.
And my wife and I were talking yesterday on our walk that this has been kind of a giant reset,
Yes.
and in seeing, what things that are important, that life had maybe gotten too fast and too busy, and maybe this is something, one of the unintended benefits of this is this reset to, get back to spending time with family and doing different things and slowing down, a little bit.
Yeah, amen to that, man. I couldn't agree more. Jumping back to the business, just one thing before we wrap up, because I believe you guys are well equipped. We've talked a little bit about your business in the past. Um, in terms of executing your business and doing meetings and things like that, I mean, really, is it safe to say, Mark, nothing's changed for you guys? I mean, you've been using technology and leveraging technology to your benefit for a long time. The security measures that are in place in the financial industry as a whole are I mean, there's a lot of money spent on security, and I don't want to act like, bad things don't happen, but I mean, the financial industry is very secure as it relates to, online money movement and all that stuff. It's almost old news, but um, have you had to make any big adjustments in your business as it relates to how you're working?
That's a great question, and we've been adding different technologies over the past couple years, not in anticipation of this, but just in response to where the financial services industry is headed. We had moved to a cloud-based phone system. It works off of apps on our cell phones, so we can answer the phones wherever we are. We've done cloud-based storage of electronic files, which are very secure. We've been doing Zoom video conferencing for quite a while. I'm part of a little larger organization called Canvas Financial, and we've got 6 partners with 8 offices across the country. And so we've been working on Zoom and other things for several years now to make that happen. And an interesting thing with our with Canvas is with our business continuity plan that's being tested at the moment, and it's working very well. We've had no downgrade in service or support. Our levels are just as good as they were before the crisis. We use Zoom to meet with my staff every morning just to get a handle on the day and plan for the week ahead. I use a dictation app on my phone to dictate client notes and other things that then are transcribed and automatically go to all staff members, as well as posted automatically into the client file. So everybody knows what's going on and what we need to do with our clients on a daily basis. We've set up the staff to be able to work from home quite a while ago for many different reasons. We get snowstorms here in the winter,
Yeah.
and nobody needs to be out driving in that if they don't have to. And so the staff can work from home remotely during those times, just as if they were here in the office. We all have scanners on our desks, and so it's very easy to send information back and forth. I'm the only one that comes into the office at the moment. I'm the only one here, so I get the mail, see what's in there. This is kind of a safe zone. I keep the door locked so nobody comes in, and so that's been working very well. We've been working very efficiently, and so this business continuity plan has been interesting. That it was developed more for like natural disasters. We have 2 offices in California, and they're prone to earthquakes out there.
Right.
And so it was important to if something happened out there, that the partners and the staff in those areas could pick up and they could have support in other areas of the country. And so that has worked very well. In the Midwest here, we have tornadoes, and so if somebody's office was destroyed by a tornado, we can be up and working in any of the other offices across the country. So that's been really critical, and it's really kind of pushed us into the position we're at now, that we can work remotely, that everything's on a laptop and we can work from wherever we need to. So that's been great. So like I said, we've had no downgrade in service or support. We're meeting with clients via Zoom. It's a very good substitute for face-to-face meetings. It doesn't really replace that, but it is
Right.
very efficient. It's very nice to be able to see people's faces while you're talking to them, so you still feel like you have a connection. And
Yeah.
so it's been surprising how seamlessly we move to the remote environment.
Well, yeah, that's great to hear. That's great to hear, because so many other, read your news feed, read the paper, what have you, listen to the news. So many other industries that um, are not able to execute like the financial industry, like you guys do, are being impacted even harder. So I'm happy to hear that, and happy to hear that you're able to touch base with your clients, talk to them, counsel them, and just be an ear for them. One of the things that I and one of my friends, Brian Grano, who he owns Mickey Finn's, he said something when he posted our interview. He said it was helpful to talk it through. And I think that's really key for, frankly, all of us. And it's why I wanted to do these interviews as well. Is, what are you thinking, man? How are you approaching this? Not only from a business perspective, but from a personal perspective. So one final question before we wrap up, Mark. Is there any message? You're very involved with Libertyville. You're very involved with the community. You do a lot of giving back and everything. So you're super plugged in. Is there any message that you want to give to shout out to your friends in Libertyville?
Well, I would say, number one, hang in there, that we will get through this together. That you bring up an interesting point. There was an article in the New York Times a week ago Friday, and it was in regards to the stimulus checks that are going to be coming out here shortly. And I know the stimulus checks are very important to a lot of people, that it's going to help make ends meet. But there's also a lot of people that may not need that stimulus check. And so we've been talking to our clients and others that we know that if you don't need that stimulus check, use it for somebody that does. Donate it to an organization. For example, my wife and I and the family, we volunteer at PADS at the homeless shelter every week here in Libertyville, and they're in crucial need of funds, because due to the stay-at-home mandate, they're currently having 100 guests put up in hotels around the area, and that's very expensive. And so organizations like that could certainly use stimulus checks if somebody doesn't need it. I would also say, if you get a stimulus check, use it to stimulate the economy. Go to Main Street Libertyville and use it for takeout and delivery, and benefit the people on Main Street Libertyville. And so use it for what it's intended for. And then lastly, one thing that we're working on here very diligently now is, with the stimulus package that was passed, there's a lot of information in there, and we need to decipher that and see how best to advise our clients as far as business owners with the different loans and grants that are available, and also for individual clients that may need to take money out of retirement plans, just to get by. There's some important language in there for that. So we're in the midst of learning all that, so we can best advise our clients on that.
That's great. That last point is really important, is, call somebody and ask questions. You're a great resource.
Yes, it doesn't ever hurt to get a second opinion.
Exactly. So thanks so much, Mark. We'll wrap up. I'll download this. We'll throw some logos on it and all that, and upload it. I'll talk to you and Katina after this. And I just really appreciate all that you're doing. All that you do for the PADS community too. I know you're so involved with that, and so many other people in Libertyville are. It's critical. So just thanks for all you do, and thanks for taking the time this morning, man.
All right, thanks, Jim.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Check you out later.